4, 3.
What's up, everybody? I can't believe it's Wednesday already. And you know what that means by now. Hopefully you know what that means. It means it's time for Well That Effing Figures. And tonight we have a returning guest that we had so much fun the first time that we didn't hesitate or wait too long to have him back on. So without further delay, Chris Burfield, aka Burf, aka
Hey,
80s
how's it going,
Boy Rock.
guys?
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
Oh man, all kinds of good stuff, and glad to be back on, man. I really appreciate the second invite here. So we had a lot of fun last time. I think we'll have a lot of fun again tonight.
Definitely. And we don't bullshit. When we say we want somebody back on, we have them back on. So now you're the living proof among a few others that we've had back on. And yeah, so we don't bullshit. We want people back on. We had fun last time.
Good.
I left that show. Actually, I went to bed right after and I was listening and I was thinking about all the good times we talked about. And it brought back even more memories, man. So like I was just laying there and spinning and thinking
Right.
about all the things that we were talking about and even more things that came up.
Right.
Which leads us to the nights talked about our childhood and all the things we did when we were kids. So maybe this time we can talk about some of the same things, different, more other fun things.
Yeah.
But also like movies, video games, things that we loved growing up and we still go back to and love today. So
Yeah. Speaking of that, so I don't know if have you guys seen Indiana Jones?
I have not yet.
I've not watched it yet.
I haven't seen it yet. Okay, so we won't go into any spoilers or anything like that.
No, I don't care about that.
Tell people that are watching this that maybe haven't seen it yet, or maybe even debating on whether or not to see it, because there's been a lot of negative press about it. And if you go into the movie with the mindset of I'm going to listen, I'm going to tear apart every word that comes out of their mouth, every scene that that's taking place, and find a way to try to connect it to a woke agenda and all that stuff like that, you'll probably succeed. So like there is definitely stuff like that in there. But overall, like when we went into the theater, we had seen some people all kind of already talking about it, and we were like, you know what, let's just put that out of our head and let's just simply go on an adventure last time with Indiana Jones. And we came out of that movie and we liked it. Like if I were to give it like on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 7.5.
Really?
But like, yeah, I would. And I would actually give it an 8. There were some things in there that like whatever, like little subliminal things and whatnot. But the one thing is that like when I watch an action movie, and this is one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of modern action movies. I mean, you guys have probably seen me in the thrift store buying all kinds of different VHS from the 80s.
Yeah.
I got a little retro TV, a little color TV from like 1986, and I pop those VHS in and I watch all those old movies because I like movies that are real. Like where I feel like modern movies, and they did this in Indiana Jones, they introduce, the CGI and stuff like that. And it's like, well, let me back up. They introduced the AI to like deep fake his face to make him look young, right? We've kind of seen that in the previews a little bit. Like I thought they did a really good job with it. But I don't like movies that have like explosions that are like over the top and, kind of like in Crystal Skulls when he gets into the refrigerator and gets, a nuclear bomb goes off and he survives it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little over the top type stuff like that. And that's the only reason I gave it a 7.5. They had a good bit of that towards the end and I didn't care for it.
Yeah. And me, I don't go to the movies a ton, but I do go to the movies, but like I never watch any reviews. I don't give two shits what anybody else thinks about a movie. I want to give it my own opinion. Because if you get that negative review right off the bat and then you go see it, you're going to have that negative connotation in your head right off the bat. Right. And then you're going to be swayed to think the same way. I would rather just go in and get my own opinion because all that, like T3 says in the chat, the Rotten Tomatoes, all that crap, I don't care. I watch a movie on Netflix and it gives it like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to be more inclined to watch it because I want to give my own opinion and see what I think about
And
it.
a lot of times I like those movies, dude. They have
Yeah,
like
right.
2 stars, and I watch it, and I'm like, how does that only have 2 stars?
Yeah,
That was
right. I mean,
awesome.
because some assholes just sitting there hitting, whatever they hit to give it a bad review,
Right.
and they're just to be funny sometimes, I would think. But
Right.
I don't care about anybody's. I don't care. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own taste, and that's the way it should be. I don't
Mhm.
want anybody to tell me what to look out for or anything because I want to have my own judgment.
Right.
So yeah, that's just my rant for the night. But,
People that rely on reviews, I feel bad for them. They obviously don't have a
yeah, they
brain.
must have a really sad life, like sitting
Why
around
would
and
you?
everybody
Why
else.
would you decide whether or not you're going to see something based off what somebody else said?
Yeah,
Right.
like I never even got Siskel and Ebert. I'm like watching that, and I'm like, I don't care what they think. Like,
Well,
if anybody remembers that, I know you guys.
oh
do.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we used to watch Siskel and my grandmother and I used to watch it. She liked it, so she'd watch it, and I'd sit there and watch. Like, I wasn't like into it, but I remember watching it with her.
I used to even tell my mom, "What are these assholes talking about? I want to watch this movie now even more because they gave it a bad review. Like, I want to give my opinion,
Right.
Damn, the chat's moving tonight. We got
Yeah,
Duffman in the
Fire.
house.
Yeah.
Duffman's always here.
Maybe we
Welcome,
should-
Joseph Pratt.
Maybe we should go through the chat and
These
welcome
new,
everybody.
Yeah.
faces. Star Wars Addict 77, welcome. Sarah
Yeah.
Wallace.
Hey, thanks for saying you like my
Collector.
shirt. I think that was like T3
Oh, yeah,
Collect.
Yeah,
T3
T3 yeah, I like it too. I was going to call you He-Man, aka 80s Toy Run, aka, but you had too many names already, so.
Of course, Mega Demon is here.
Mega
Welcome.
Demon,
Welcome.
thanks for joining. We got
Jake
a
Billy
nice crew
Retro
tonight.
Hey, Billy
Boys.
Retro's here. What's up, man? Glad to see you.
Yeah, me and him are going to try to get together for a toy hunt someday. He doesn't live too far from me,
Oh, really?
so we talk a lot. And I actually went to a con with him, not with him, but I saw him there, and but we didn't get together. So
Yeah.
maybe someday we'll see what
He's
happens.
a good guy.
He's about 2 hours, a little bit less than that from me, so it makes sense to maybe hook up and do a little
Yeah,
video or something.
I've actually been kind of. I had one of my subscribers. He toy hunts a lot, but he doesn't have a YouTube channel or anything like that. But he loves to toy hunt in thrift stores, just like me. His name's Salvador, and he's in Fort Worth, which is like a 50-minute drive. And every once in a while, I venture out that way. But he hit me up the other day. He's like, "Hey, if you ever come to Fort Worth, man, let me know, and I'll take you to all the thrift stores around here." So I haven't really been to a lot on the Fort Worth side. So I was like, that would be fun to like go out with other people, not just me all the time, but go out with other people and thrift with them.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you can introduce, like, he saw a video of mine where I went to a toy store and he was like, wow, they had a lot of shit. And I said, well, maybe we'll hit that one up someday together. But that man's blowing up, man. Like, I keep an eye on him, man. His little sub count's catching up, man. That's what gave me a little bit more of motivation.
Yeah, he was like at
100 videos in 1 week,
like a week ago, and I saw he's up over 250, headed towards 260 now.
Yeah, he's catching me, man. And I've been doing this a little bit now. I've been lazy, and I'm not to say that that's taking anything away from him, but now he gave me the motivation to get back out there a little bit more too by watching him. And
right.
So,
I don't know. One thing I've noticed from the time that I started YouTube is like my subs, like they go up in like bursts. They'll go up and then they'll stagger and just sit there, and then they'll go up and they'll stagger, and like I don't know, it's freaking weird.
Yeah, I experienced that too, where it's like so for the longest time I was like probably like, well, since December I was getting about 200 subs a month is kind of what it was panning out to. But back in December I had a month where it was like over 500 subs that month. So it like, really blew up, and then it kind of died back down. But the last 2 months, I've had 450 subs per month the last 2 months. So, it's going on a little spike again, but like, who knows how long that will last.
What's going on, D Nuggets? Good to
D
see you. I
Nuggets,
haven't seen you in a
welcome to the
while.
Yeah. So besides Indiana Jones, like since you watched the new Indiana Jones, did you go back and watch the others before you went or after?
I did. I watched them before and then I watched them after. So I just watched Temple of Doom 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
So but yeah, those first 3, are obviously, I think for a lot of us in this age bracket are like the best. Which one do you guys like best out of those first three?
I always like the first one of most things. I mean, with the exception of Star Wars, I like Empire Strikes Back the best out of the original three.
Yeah.
But I always like the first Indiana Jones. I don't know why. I guess just the nostalgia of it, and I don't know.
Me too. Go ahead, Colin.
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna.
It's hard because they're all. I like all three of them, but the first one, I don't know. I just like Back to the Future. I like the first one. I like the third one. The second one,
I don't really care for 3 and Back to the Future. And
I didn't care for 2 because I didn't like where all the kids look just like them. I'm like,
oh yeah, that was kind of cheap, right?
Stupid.
I don't know.
They look just like them, right? They
Back
couldn't
to
get
the
other
Future
kids.
3 was still like kind of fun though. Like I don't.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it
not-
was
it's not
funny
the
when you
best
had
out
the
of it.
girl, Michael J. Fox, dressed as the daughter. But I mean,
Right.
yeah, you couldn't get other kids to do this. I mean, you
Honestly,
couldn't
I
get
think
Jason Bateman in there or something.
my least favorite Back to the Future is I think the second one.
Me
to
too.
be honest,
Yeah, I don't like
I
that
think
one.
that's my least favorite one.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I remember watching them on TV all the time, and when that one would come on, I just didn't really care. Like
Yeah.
you know, like when the world's all fucked up and everything.
I don't know if it was like for 3. I don't know if this was like really the issue, but for me, like 3, Back to the Future 3, I didn't like that love story with Doc and the girl, like and all of that. You know what I mean? Like I could have just did without that.
See, I always had a thing. I always had a
weird because like the rest of them, like Doc was not like that. It just didn't make sense to me either.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it was Mary
his
Steenburgen now.
stuff.
You know, it was Mary Steenburgen. You got to give her, you know, she's a hot older woman, you know. So.
I really wish, like Wages, I really wish they would make a real hoverboard, like a legit working one. They got to get on that.
They
like
can if they wanted.
They would by now. Yeah.
You know, I've seen those guys with like the jetpack thingies. You know, they put them on their hands and they fly around.
I just saw a video of that. That's wild.
It was supposed to be 2015 where they were doing this shit, according to the movie. So they're behind.
They've made like hoverboards, but like there's got to be like a track, you know, because it's like they use like magnets and stuff. But like I want like legit one like he used in the movie,
go
like
down the street, right?
Let's get it. Like, come on,
that would be awesome.
Right.
Speaking of that kind of stuff, one year when Caroline, my daughter, when she was like, I don't know, she might have been 6. We got one of those, I forget what they're called, but they're like, it's like a little platform you stand on. It's got 2 wheels on the side and it like roll, you know, you can.
Oh yeah. I think they call them a hoverboard.
Maybe that's what, maybe they do call them hoverboards.
Too,
So we had bought one because I've seen these, I saw some videos like on YouTube or Facebook or something, and it was like little kids running or like driving around on them, you know? And I was just like, oh, that would be great. We'll get one of those for her for Christmas. So we ended up getting it, and I got a video of it. Like I got on it to test it out, and like almost like fell and broke my back.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man,
like I fall and
like
I stand up. I kind of catch myself, and I stand up. I'm like, all right, it's going back to the store. She's not doing this.
Yeah.
Funny you bring that up because I was like parked on the side of the road one day. Like, I was gonna pull off. I was leaving somewhere. And this guy's coming down the road on one of those hoverboards, and he had like a bag from fast food somewhere. Oh man, and he must have hit a rock or something and just face first. It was hilarious. I felt so bad for the guy, but it was funny. It was so funny.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's
that's not the first time I've seen that happen.
Yeah. There's a video of Mike Tyson out there on one of those things, and he like it kicks out from underneath him. And he like, I mean, literally just slams on his back. Like there was no like bracing himself, and his head like hits off the floor.
Damn. He got up like what happened? What just happened?
Right.
Well, I mean, anybody that's ever been on like a skateboard knows like the smallest pebble they're not your friends, you know? Like
Oh yeah, it'll tear you up.
Yeah, I wrecked one time on rollerblades back in the 90s, late 90s. I was on a road. It wasn't like a main highway, you know, like a main road. It was like a back road. You know, it was paved, but there was gravel on it, and that's exactly what happened. That gravel got up in the wheel and boom, just threw me forward. Had
flying burf all over the street. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I've wrecked a bunch of times on my bike, skateboard, scooter, you name it. Like,
what's the worst wreck you had as a kid for both of you?
Well, when I wasn't even old enough to quite remember this, but I was on a big wheel like we talked about last time. And I lived in a row home, and I was riding my big wheel, and my neighbor's cousin jumped off the porch and like hit the 10-speed that was parked at the bottom of the porch. It kicked out, and the kickstand got me right across the eyelid.
Oh, no way.
And a couple more millimeters, I may have lost my eye, but I'm riding the big wheel still like nothing happened. My mom's coming out cursing in Italian. And I'm like, what's wrong? And I touch my face. I'm like, holy shit, I'm bleeding. You know, whatever. When I'm going to get, I just looked at it and started going like crazy because I was bleeding to death. So I still have the scar to this day, like where it is, man. It's it's probably about that long, but
a good gash in you. You'd have to get
the
stitches or
worst.
anything.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I did. Yeah, I did.
did.
Growing up, being on like, you know, skateboarding, riding BMX and snowboarding, I didn't like, you know, you wiped out and everything.
Mhm.
I didn't really have like a really bad like wreck until I was like 20, I think, on a
What
snowboard.
happened?
We went snowboarding. It was real shitty out. I even said, like, I was like, we probably shouldn't even be out. It was like raining and it was icy and it was just shit. And I ended up catching my edge and, you know, just head over heels. Freaking, I broke my collarbone, fucked up my neck. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sucks.
So when I did
The
that,
ride home was worse. It was like I had like a 3-hour ride home. Oh man, it sucked.
Oh,
That was like the
no.
worst ever.
yeah. So the one I said, that was like not even me as the one that wrecked. It was somebody else wrecking me. And then the funny part was I was in kindergarten and we were getting our school pictures done like a few days later. So here I am with a big old black eye, stitches and shit, and getting my kindergarten picture. So I still have it. Like,
You still have it? Oh,
I got
dude,
my
that's
little
epic.
button-down shirt on, and if you ever come on again, I'm going to show it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know I can't find it this fast because
I have to come back now to see it. Like,
Yeah, right. Or I'll send it to you. But I got a big old black eye. I got the stitches hanging out, and I'm like trying to crack a smile with no teeth. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what a shit show. But anyway,
mine was you mentioned BMX. My dad had just gone and bought me and my brother 2 BMX bikes. They're red and silver. And we got them home and it started raining. But we were like, me and my brother, like, we don't give a fuck. Like, we wanna go ride the bikes, you know? So we took the bikes out in the rain and we're riding all through the yard and stuff. And we had an above ground pool and it was round. So he went this way in the yard and I went this way, but then I was coming back, I was coming around the pool and he was coming around the other side and we like crashed like right into it at each other. And I think, I don't know, I might have said this on the last time we talked too, but like I ended up flying forward and like I hit my nuts hit the bar.
yeah, we did talk
And
about
I just
the nuts,
remember
yeah.
laying on the ground in agony. It hurts so
Yeah, I remember that now because we were saying the nuts took a beating on these BMX bikes.
right.
That's why I used to buy. Remember, they used to have the pads on them.
They
Like
used to
some
put
of
the pads on them. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
like some of the newer retro bikes have, like we were talking about last time. They come with the pads, and they're pretty cool to see and have on there.
I'd
But
love to find one of those old bikes in a
Oh, they
thrift
have
store
them, man.
one day.
Yeah.
I follow a guy on Instagram, and that's all he does is old BMX bikes, beautiful bikes. Oh my god!
Really?
There's a website that sells them and just that kind of bike. I have to get it and send it to you.
Yeah,
But
and
they're
it's
like,
actually actual vintage one, like ones from.
well, they sell. My friend buys vintage ones all the time. Like he collects them. He has like 15 bikes in his like spare basement room.
Wow.
I know
And they're-
SE Bike still sells like PK Ripper and everything.
I was just gonna say he has PK Ripper and Haro and Diamondback and all that
Wow.
shit. Yeah.
I want one of the new that they sell the BMX bikes now with like 26 and 29-inch wheels. That's what I want.
Yeah, I had a GT from Dick's Sporting Goods that had the 29-inch wheels, but I sold it because I was moving and I had too many bikes and it was just too much at the time. But
I think one of you guys last time had told me about, we were talking about big wheels, and you said, I think it was Colin that said there's like a group of guys that go driving around. I saw a video of it like maybe like 2 weeks ago. It popped up and I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. That is bad. And they were like more like modern type of like, you know, fit for adults, you know, but like it was cool. Like I was watching them all drive around.
Don't make
you gotta
me
watch them going down the big like hills, like the hills,
Right.
the roads. man, it's crazy. They're like drifting around them, and
I
want to
know, right?
do one of those meetups so bad.
If I ever get a chance to buy one of those, it's mine, and I'm gonna start a gang and just ride around the town.
They do is they all like you must follow a group or something, and they all meet up in like some state, and it's like
Right.
a huge run, and they just
Nice.
it looks awesome. It's like over 100 people.
I'll have to
Going
look that
crazy.
up.
Yeah, do you guys have like where you're at? Do you have bike paths on the road that bikers bike on, or they actually bike in the middle of the road, like on the same road?
Kind of both. Yeah, we have both. I mean, we do have like, I got a park right up the road from me that's like, it's a huge, like miles and miles and miles and acres of bike paths and everything, but you still have people riding on the road where it's like 2 lanes and they're in the way.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah,
goddamn park. It's right there. Like
when they ride in packs, it irritates me because then they just kind of like dominate the road in front of you.
Yeah.
You know,
you go
and
around,
like,
you get
some
head
of
on
them
collision.
actually will move over. They move. Well, most of them do. They'll move over to the side to let you pass, sort of thing. But like, some of them are just assholes. Some of these groups, like they're just taking up like the whole lane, and
and then you try to go around them, and you get in a head-on collision.
Right.
Through it and shit, It's like,
oh yeah.
So besides Indiana Jones, go ahead, Colin.
I was gonna ask him if you kept up, if you saw any of all those reveals and stuff from like Walmart and everything for Comic-Con.
No, I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah.
Which Comic-Con?
It's all
Walmart, California,
it's all San Diego.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to that?
What's that? No,
have you ever been to San Diego Comic-Con? Either one of you? Have you, Colin?
I've not been to San Diego Comic-Con. No.
Have you?
No.
I've like always been dying to go, but like now, like I know this year, like
they're all canceling.
Sideshow is not even going to be there, and like that's like the main reason I'd ever want to go. That's I'd want to go to the Sideshow booth, and like that, that's a huge attraction there, But
what exactly is the Sideshow?
It's all like the Hot Toys and Sideshow statues and.
Gotcha.
It's like higher end, yeah, like 12-inch.
All the beautiful statues, yeah.
Some of those shit to look at. Are amazing, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you get to see everything that's coming out for the year, and it's so expensive to go there now. Like I don't know. I think if I were to pick between the two, I'd go to New York.
Me too. I could drive there 2 hours. I'm there. So that's
New York's more my I don't know, I'd get in with New York better.
Right.
I mean, I hate the hustle and bustle of New York, but I straight up the New Jersey Turnpike, and I can be there 2.5 hours at the most. So I would choose that one too. And although San Diego is beautiful, I would love to go back there, but it's like
that's like the only thing California has going for it is weather.
That's the only thing I would go there.
I know, like there's like really no reason that I really want to go to New York or to California anymore. And it's weird because like when I was in high school, that's like where everybody wanted to move. That's where everybody wanted to go, and now it's like everybody's trying to leave.
I know. That's so crazy that that's true. Same thing. Like, even like as a kid watching Saved by the Bell, those kids were like, I wanted to be like those guys, what I mean? And like, that have that cool California lifestyle and whatnot. But like, now nobody wants to go there. They're moving out.
Now you're like, you want to go on vacation to California? Fuck no, I'm not going to California. Like, no way, dude. So like I was going to say, besides Indiana Jones, what movies are your go-to to go back and watch that make you have so many memories of when you were younger?
So The Burbs is one of them.
The Burbs,
I love that movie. It's just so funny.
It is.
That one, the first Ghostbusters.
Okay.
What else? I have there's obviously all 3 still Star Wars trilogies. I have those. These are some of the movies I watch like over and over again.
Thank goodness you said that one. Thank you.
And then like Kickboxer is another one.
Yeah.
Like,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
How about you guys?
For me, Back to the Future, Star Wars, Karate Kid, all the Karate Kids. Except for maybe the Hilary
Goonies.
Swank one. I don't want to watch that one, or the Will Smith son one. I don't care
Yeah,
for those. The
I
old
haven't
ones.
seen that either.
The old ones, like especially like every time Karate Kid Part 1 is on, if I come across that on TV, I will watch it.
Yeah, I do the same, dude. I just like pause. I'm surfing, I see it, I put it on, and that's it.
I just love all the music in it. I love the soundtrack of it. I love everything about it. I always did. And then when they
Right.
brought Cobra Kai back out, I love that too.
Yeah.
It brings back like everything for me. Like I
I've
just
watched
love
the
that
first 2
movie.
seasons and then started watching the 3rd season and then stopped and haven't gotten back into that yet. Like, I liked it though. We actually all watched it as a family. We like binge watched it over a few days, you know.
It's great.
But yeah, I need to get back to watching that.
Because they got what is it, season 4 or 5 coming out? I forget which one it is.
It might be 5, maybe.
It might be 5.
Yeah, I think it might be 5.
I think that's coming out towards the end of the year. I think they had got delayed for some odd reason.
Like Johnny in that, like, I mean, I
love Johnny
identify with him on how he thinks on just about everything.
Me
you know,
too.
like no bullshit.
Me too.
Just like come straight at it, you know.
He's just like me. He gets in trouble for saying shit all the time. And I'm
right.
Like, yeah, it's like I got in trouble for some shit a couple weeks ago. Like we went out to dinner with a couple that will remain nameless because who knows if they're watching. But he's telling me a story on why he lost his job, and his girlfriend's sitting there shaking her head with the lip like that's not what happened. That's not. She's thinking that. I'm looking at her. I'm like, now a normal person would not say anything, but I'm an asshole. I'm like, if that's the truth, why is she giving me the shake and the lip? And he's like,
right.
He was like, oh shit. Like, so yeah, it was funny. And I thought back at it. I'm like, should I have said that? Damn right I should have, you know,
right.
I would expect no less if he did that to me. That's fine.
Well,
you know,
it's like me and Nicole were just talking about this earlier. So there was I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's an older video. I think, it's been floating around for a few months, whatever. But this guy comes up to like the Ring doorbell. And he's got like a hoodie on. You can't see his face. And he's like, hey, bro, I just want to tell you that every day when you leave work, a car pulls up. They park about 3 houses down and they walk up here to your place. And then they leave before you get home. And he's like, I just wanted you to know, like, it's basically like, I don't want to get involved, but I just wanted you to know I'm going to walk this way. I don't live that way, but I'm walking that way. And like, it was like, he just like, he saw it and like called it out, I was like, damn.
That kind of reminds me of something when I was a kid. We used to have a game called Doorbell Dixie. We ring the doorbell and run like hell. Okay, I'm sure you guys played that.
Yep.
Ding dong ditch, whatever you want to. Yeah. That was a fun ass game, but then you didn't have to worry about getting shot. Now you probably do, because now you can't do it because of all the Ring doorbells and all them things. Either.
Right,
it's a little more tough.
It makes it more fun. It's more challenging now.
Put like a mask on or something and do it.
Did you guys, speaking of that kind of stuff, when you were young, like we called it corning. Did you guys ever do like corning? It's basically what we would do around Halloween time. It would start up in October.
Oh, shaving
and what we would do is we'd get like a bag of corn, and then we would go wait by the road. And when cars would come by, we'd get up and we'd all throw corn in the car. So we called it corning. But did you guys do anything like that?
But we also used to add shaving cream to the mix.
Oh, no
so
way.
Then when it hit the window, it would splatter.
Oh, no way.
Oh, we got in big trouble for that one time.
We didn't have a name for it, and we didn't necessarily use corn.
we didn't call it corning. But we just call it throwing shit at the cars. Like we even did water balloons like at cars on the main avenue down the road from where I live.
So my mom had bought us these water balloons that were like they were they had a design on them like a grenade. So when you fill it up, it kind of looked like a grenade,
Yeah.
And I filled one up real big. And where we lived out in the country. So there was our house, and then there was the road, and then there was like this big fucking hill. I mean, it was fucking huge and real steep. And so I climbed up went up the hill. I get up there, and I'm able to see down the road, and there's actually a turn that it like turns, and then it comes straight, like right in front of our house. So I got up where that turn was, and this car came around, and I threw this water grenade, and it just went kaboom! I mean, it smacked so fucking hard because this car was probably doing like 45, 50 miles an hour. And then you got this water grenade. And like, I remember him just like hitting his brakes And then like I took off running up the hill, I just wanted to get as far away. And they ended up leaving and I went home. And the next day my dad came home. So my dad worked in the coal mines.
Mhm.
So he said, hey, he goes, were you and your brother throwing water grenades at cars yesterday? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, Bill Spade told me that he came around the turn here the other day and a water grenade or something hit his window. And I was like, oh, it wasn't us. It wasn't us, And my dad goes, all right, I just want you to know that Bill Spade said that if he ever sees you, he's going to rip your face off. And I was like,
old Bill Spade, you can't have him
I'm so
see you.
scared, but I mean, Dad knew that we did that, you know what I mean? But like, no, we didn't do it.
It's funny, J Philly Retro Toys, he said drive-by shitting, and it made me think of something we used to do. And I for some reason, I want to say we got it from like CKY or something. And and this was in high school. We were doing this shit. It was early on in high school. I don't know. We'd be driving around smoking pot probably. And
Awesome.
We would go get like old purses from the like, whatever you call it, not Goodwill, but it was like a Goodwill store.
Okay.
But wait, the goodie wheel.
You'd put like dog shit in them, throw them on the side of the road, and we'd park there and wait for someone would pick them up. And they'd usually drive like a little bit, and all of a sudden you'd see this shit flying out the window of the car. Yeah. I probably still have these videos on an old flip phone somewhere. I gotta look for them now.
I could only wish I had that kind of technology back then, because we had my friend's friend had a tree house, and that's something I always wanted. So when I found out he had it, we went over there for Halloween one night for Mischief Night. Like Mega Demon said, Mischief Night hijinks. We went over there. We had the corn on the cob. We used to cut them in half. Maybe I'm wrong, but we used to shave and cream them up, go to the corner. We even throw them at houses that like the guy did not like the neighbors.
Yeah.
We would throw them to houses and then go running high in the tree house. And that adrenaline rush that you got from that, there's nothing like that in the world. And you know what I'm talking about because you're both shaking your head.
Right.
That adrenaline that you get when you do something like that, or when you're about to even scare someone. You know how you get really giddy and shit?
Right,
That's
right.
how I get. But that was such a feeling, man. I love that.
That's awesome.
And we never broke a window, and we didn't mean any harm. We didn't know any, I guess we knew better, but we were young and stupid. Well,
right.
It wasn't like it is now. So, so kids, don't go out and do that now if you're listening.
Right.
But,
right. Well, we
do
so I
something
have
different.
matter of fact, I've been wanting to dig it up. It's in one of our boxes. I just don't know which one, but I need to get in there and find this. But Colin had mentioned, videotape and stuff like that. So I videotaped my last day of 10th grade. And the reason I did is because we grew up in this little town, and then my dad, like I said earlier, he worked in the coal mines, and then he lost his mine shut down in the late 80s, like 88. So my dad ended up going to college for the first time in his 30s. And he became a Methodist minister. So when he first got into the ministry, they assigned him to a church in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, which is where the groundhog is, right? So we ended up moving to Punxsutawney. So 10th grade was the year that happened. So I wanted to take the video camera to school that day and videotape my entire last day to just remember my friends by, because I didn't think I was ever going to see them again, long story short, I ended up living with my grandma the last half of my senior year so I could graduate from that school with the kids I grew up with. So, but I videotaped it, and like, there's stuff on there, dude, like our fucking school, like some of the teachers were like super strict, and like, when you were in their class, like you did not misbehave, you know what I mean? Because you knew, like, shit would happen, you'd be in detention for a long time or whatever, so long story short, I keep saying that, but like it ends up, there were some teachers at the school that you could practically get away with murder with. And that's all reflected in this video, which teacher, so like in those classes, like, like one kid drops his pants, like right in the middle of the room and moons the camera at me. The teacher's like standing right there next to him. When my mom saw the tape, she's like, "Oh my God, I can see his nutsack." So it's like that type of stuff. And then we had this kid in our school. His name was Bill Hollenbaugh. I'll never forget this. And the reason why is because at the end of 7th period, we would go to the bathroom. The guys would, we'd all go down the restroom before the next class, whatever. And Bill Hollenbaugh was always in this one restroom. And our restrooms at our school, the stalls had no doors on them. And he would take a dump every day, like after 7th period. So when you'd walk in there, he'd just be sitting there on the toilet and you could see him just taking a dump,
What kind of school is this with no doors?
Yeah, I know, right, dude?
I would never shit.
Like if you had to shit, like you couldn't, you couldn't do it, or you were gonna get hell from people that if you got, somebody walked in on you. So that's what ended up happening to this kid. So what we would do is during 7th period, we would get like a pass from our one science teacher. He would always give hall passes. Like he was kind of near retirement and he didn't give a fuck. So in 7th period, we would go and then we'd go up to the restroom and we would piss all over the toilet paper in the stalls so that Bill Hollenbaugh couldn't like take his dump there, So on my videotape, you don't see anything other than a stream of piss coming out. This kid pissing all over the toilet paper.
Nice.
And we took permanent marker and we wrote "Bill Hollenbaugh rocks this house" on the side of the stall. Oh, man. Looking back on it, it was like definitely bullying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny, but it's like I feel bad about it now.
Bullying was different then,
Right.
That reminds me of a story. It wasn't like bullying, but it was like my two friends, I never forget, Eric and Donnie. They were like, "Hey, dude, they wanted to climb up into the drop ceiling and look down on the girls in the bathroom and locker room."
Yeah.
And I was like, "So what part of this do you want me to be involved in?" They were like, "Just be the lookout." I said, "Because I'm not going up there."
Right.
So I'm outside. I perch myself outside the locker room and I'm just waiting around watching for teachers and shit. About 5-10 minutes go by and I hear a crash. They fell through the drop ceiling right into the bathroom. All the girls start running out. And I just kind of slithered down the hall, like I'm out of there, like I'm gone, man. Like I don't want no part of this.
Right.
But
wow.
So our principal, which we were pretty cool with at the time, I'll never forget. He took us to the office and he was like, "Look, guys, and these two were covered in like drywall and shit. It was all, they were totally powdered up. There's like no denying it." And they're like, "So, for me, it was like, so what part did you have in this?" I'm like, "Well, if you're really going to make me tell you, I was like kind of the lookout, but evidently we didn't need that because they fell through the goddamn ceiling. So I had no part in it, really." It was funny as shit, though.
That is
they just
funny.
I heard the boom, man. It was like, and all the girls screaming and they're all running out like with
That's
the,
funny,
little
man.
tank tops and shit on. I'm like, we saw more than they did. So,
Yeah, right.
It's funny, man. You got any old high school stories, Colin, that used to throw anybody in the shower with their clothes on like we used to do, the freshmen or anything like that? That was fun too.
Right.
I got thrown in when I was a freshman, so I did it when I was a senior. That's what it was, man.
It's a rite of passage.
Exactly. I had to pay my dues. So yeah, that's fun shit, man. Now you get in trouble for that shit. You'll probably like go to jail.
No, we did all that stuff, but luckily I was smart and I made friends with all the upper class.
Mm-hmm.
I hung out all the upper class. I never got hazed like that.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Well, the one thing I had going for me was I got off of like the inner city bus. So a lot of the people I got off the bus with were really, really mean characters. Like it was like, so they saw me getting off that bus and they're like, "Don't fuck with him. He's from bus 9 or whatever, like he's from Wilmington. Don't fuck with him because he knows people." So I got lucky in that aspect where they left me the hell alone for the most part. But I paid my dues on a few things and it was cool. It is what it is,
Dude, you should make a t-shirt out of that. It just
What's
says
that?
Bus 9. And then
Yeah.
and then have like a little like description of what that means, Are you a bus 9? Were you a bus 9 kid?
Wait, you're from bus 8? Oh, you're fucked. Yeah, you're not one of us.
Yeah, Barn Burners is asking about
man.
asking about swirlies. Those were pretty much dead by the time I was in high school.
Yeah, the swirler where
Like they were threatened and stuff, but they didn't do them anymore.
Yeah.
What's a swirly?
I think it's where you wet your finger. It's something called a wet
No,
willy.
you stick.
Wet
Don't you
willy.
stick their head in
Okay,
there?
yeah.
Don't you stick their head in the toilet?
Oh, that's the. Oh,
Flush
yes,
it?
that's yeah. You're
Oh.
right. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
right. That's what it
See?
is.
I never did
Yeah.
that to
A
anybody. We
wet
threw
willy
it,
is just what I say. Yeah, it's not a swirl.
but we threw the freshmen in the showers with their clothes on. We put cockroaches in their friggin' lockers, shit like that.
That's funny.
I don't know where we got the cockroaches, but we came across cockroaches somehow. So. Water bugs and shit like that.
Yeah, I
Fun
actually,
times.
I've often so like I've failed out of college twice. So, but you know, I ended up starting my own business and you know been fairly successful over the years, whatever. And like, but I say, with the way the schools are set up today, if I knew what I knew now, I would have. Like, this is no joke. I'm dead serious. I would have probably dropped out after 8th grade had my parents allowed it, because like really nothing I learned through high school or even like through college has really made any sort of impact in my life at all. You know, very, very minimal. Most of the stuff I've learned, I mean, now we live in an era with the internet, right? So we have this information at our fingertips, even like Chat GPT, like crazy shit, right? So it's like, you know, everything that I learned about marketing, which is what I do for a living, I actually learned online. So all self-taught, you know, watching other people and like, you know, that are successful, and like success always leaves clues, you know? So like you watch other people, see what they're doing and like, okay, I'm going to do that too, you know? But like, if you're going to go to school to like for business, which a lot of people do, my wife graduated with a business degree. It's like, and you know,
I know I say the same thing. Like, don't even do it.
yeah. It's not worth going in that much debt for it. You know,
I know
80,000 in debt to come out to maybe get like a $40,000 a year job. You know,
Believe it or not, I
feel
say
like-
this shit every day. Every day at work, I say.
I feel like unless you're going to be like a doctor, a
Yeah,
lawyer,
right.
you know,
Then-
something like that.
Exactly.
yeah, an engineer, you
point.
know, something like that. But yeah, if you're like,
I would say 90% of the people I know that have college degrees aren't even using them.
I
And not
know.
only
I
that,
can't even tell you how many friends that aren't even working in the industry that they got their degree
Correct.
in.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What a
And
scam.
I know some really dumb motherfuckers that are college graduates. They don't have a bone of common sense in their body,
I know, right?
and it's kind of
Oh, yeah,
like
it don't mean you're smart. I mean,
no, it doesn't. But that's the narrative that's out there. Like, oh, you got a college degree, you make more money, you get to have more freedom and all that shit. I say this shit every day. People get pissed at me every day at work, and I'm like, there's a dumb motherfucker. There's a dumb motherfucker. There's a dumb. Like,
Well,
you know,
and
like,
it seems to me too that I mean, just even from what we saw like over the last few years with everything that went on, it seemed to me that even the people who were like have like the highest education, or what we would maybe call the highest intelligence or IQ, right? Those people seem to be more easily brainwashed and misled, and them falling into line with that narrative that was coming out. And like people like us, you know, like, I mean, I don't know you guys' background or anything like that. I feel like you're a lot like me, you know, but like, you know, it's like when that stuff was going, we started questioning things and saying, hey, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, we talked a little bit about this backstage last time, and it's just like, I'm not gonna like say any words because I don't want anything to get, you know, flagged on YouTube or anything. But
whatever.
like, but when we were talking like about the masks,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the question became, okay, so I had a friend who filmed a video at the airport, and there was people eating in a restaurant in the airport with no masks, and then right on the other side of the airport there's people walking with masks, and it was mandatory in there, like, but as long as you were eating you could take it off.
Yeah.
And my friend is like, oh, hey everybody, so the coof is only affecting this area here. These people here are completely okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when you started seeing stuff like that, that's when like people like, I don't, you know, I don't consider myself like a smart person, but I have common sense and I'm able to think, you know what I mean, and ask questions. And I feel like people with these higher educations, not all of them, but like especially like with the tech companies and stuff like that, like people were just so easily led. Like
Yeah.
I'm the guy, dude, that like when I see the crowd going that direction, when I see the masses going in that direction,
Go the other way.
I usually go the other way.
Yeah.
That has served me very well throughout my entire life.
Me too.
It's like famous quote that I love is just because 350 million people believe in a bad idea, or I'm sorry, to believe in an idea doesn't make it a good one. You know, so like because the masses can always be fooled, you know.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Don't mean to be going off on a rant on that stuff, but
No.
Oh, like I said,
I
said, all these people nowadays, they'll go fact check who the Kardashians are sleeping with, but they won't go, fact check or do their own research
on something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's unfortunate.
It is definitely because
it's
like
the society we live in. You know, a lot of people are they focus on the meaningless things. You know, like you said, like the Kardashians and who they're sleeping with, and like this guy did this to this girl, and vice versa. And it's like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, I could care less. And like ever since I don't watch the news very much anymore, and ever since I stopped, I feel so much better, man. Because you see all this shit and it starts getting in your head, and you wonder if it's real or fake, and all this shit they're trying to put in there.
It just gets you all worked up. And
It does.
for what?
For what? It's not
right?
gonna, if it's not affecting me right here, right now. I guess I just need to let it go until it does. I don't know. But
like the news isn't about, mainstream media is not about putting true news out anymore. It's about just putting something out there first. Like, like it don't matter
about the Ukraine thing last time.
Get it out there.
Right. Yeah. You told me about that. The Ukraine thing with that.
So,
matter of fact, I've told a few other people that story.
Yeah.
And they were like,
it was 100% true from somebody who lived there, not too far from where that shit was supposedly happening, and never heard a peep.
Yeah.
So you tell me how that happened. I don't know where this footage is coming from. I don't know what timeline it's from, but
right. It's like that movie. I feel like a lot of the stuff they put out, I feel like is like Wag the Dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but Dustin Hoffman, he's a Hollywood producer, and the U.S. military hires him to create a war, and he creates this whole war, and they're broadcasting stuff on TV, and it shows you like how easily influenced people can be through media, stuff that wasn't even true. They even it was funny, like in the movie, they were like, do you remember back during the Gulf War, we had like the yellow ribbons for the support your troops and all that stuff like that, right? Like in that movie, like they even made up a story about this soldier who like saved his battalion, and he lost one of his shoes in the process. He had like, when they found him, he only had one shoe. So then like they had people all over the country, like in the movie, hanging like one shoe off of their their telephone lines and on their door hooks and stuff like that, and it's kind of funny. You gotta question everything that they put in front of you, because like most of it, I feel like, is just it's like with the that whole submarine thing recently, they actually knew. I watched a video with James Cameron, who produced Avatar and those movies, Titanic, and he actually said, we knew, like he was like doing his own little video. He goes, we knew on Monday that it was gone. Like we knew it was gone. And he goes, and shame on the media for
dragging it
that
on
story go. And that just shows you how they'll take something like that and then create a whole story
because there was nothing else.
Keep you distracted and engaged with that instead of worrying about what's really
that was all for distraction.
When's the last time you heard about COVID on the news? Honestly,
I know, right?
Where the fuck did it go? Like, why is it not?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to go politics, but
I don't either. But I mean, at some point we're going to, because we get really close to the cusp every time. But rewind this 30 years. I mean, 40 years, even 1980, 85. Was this the same, you think? And we didn't realize it? Or was it not just as big of a...
I believe it was still going on. Like, I believe they were still manipulating through media. I think they've been doing that a really long time. But with the introduction of social media and how quickly we can access information now, I feel like it's amplified. You know what I mean? So I think it was still going on to a degree back then, because like, not again, like this is conspiracy theory, but this is actually proven to be true. And in the U.S., there's actually whole documents on it. It's like they admitted to it. The Gulf of Tonkin incident that got us into Vietnam, whole thing faked. It's just a story. It was just a story, but that got Americans riled up. It's called the there's a word in it in propaganda. It's something consent. It basically, after there's a word for it, but basically it means that you get the people to demand what you want to do. So if I have something I want to do, and maybe it goes against American values to do that, let's say, then you create a propaganda campaign that gets the Americans so fired up that they'll start screaming war. Go to war. You know, it's like going back to World War II with Pearl Harbor. They say that Roosevelt actually knew about a day in advance that the Japanese were going to bomb, but he really wanted the U.S. to enter into the war, but America wanted to just like, hey, no, like let Europe fight their war. We don't want war. So when he knew they were coming and didn't do anything. And then we lost all those lives that day. And then Americans demanded that we go to war. So that's how they do that.
Yeah, I don't put anything past government or anything anymore.
Yeah, I think with social media, everybody wants to have the story first. So no matter how minute of a piece of what they have, they're going to put it out there without knowing any facts. Because they want
it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just
because they want to be first.
Get it out there.
Yeah. So they can say they were first.
Because you can even prove them wrong and have facts, and they still won't even
correct. Yeah,
it won't correct.
I think it's just everybody wants to be first, like to break the story, and it sucks that they don't have any truth or very minute like points to start that rumor at that point, you know, and they want to be first.
Right. It's the manufacturing of consent. That's the term for it. We're going to manufacture the consent of the people. So, but yeah, sorry to get on that topic, guys. I know we were going to talk about toys.
No, I mean, this is a show about anything. We don't plan shit. So this is what it is. So I love this.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess all the Ollies in Pennsylvania got all the Bucky O'Hare sets. Those are cool figures, by the way. I can't
find any.
Dude, if I come across the whole set, I'll get it to you and ship it to you. Because I know I've seen at least 3 different ones at my Ollie's.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how many of the whole set is.
I know Dave from Dave's Dimension picked one up for me, picked up a Bucky for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got one off of Barn Burners, actually.
They were like $5. Online, they're going for like $30 a piece.
Yeah, my Ollie's was stacked today. So check out my video tomorrow at 1:00.
Okay,
yeah, it was I was only a 5-minute video, but it was like impromptu. I went after work and they had archives, Black Series all over the place. They had all kinds of shit. So
I noticed that Target is doing their clearance this week. I don't buy much stuff from there anymore, though. I did pick up some Indiana Jones figures on clearance.
I went there today too. It looked like a ghost town. It was shit there.
Really?
I'm not a clearance person. Like everybody goes crazy about the clearances, and it's like my opinion. And it's for me, but because like if there's toys on clearance and they're obviously things that I didn't want because the things I go out and
that's why they're on clearance.
So like I'm not just gonna buy them because they're on clearance, you know, because I'll rather use that money for something I really want.
Yeah, right. Like to me, the term long game means
clearance buying. You're just buying it because it's on clearance.
Yeah.
And that's going to end up being the stuff that you're trying to get rid of later down the road, to buy something that you really want. So just negate that and don't worry about it.
Well, the term like long game, like I'm going to do the long game. I hear a lot of people saying that. For me, that means you really don't need it or want it, because if you really need it or want it, you just get it now.
Right.
Why risk it not being there later? I don't know. That's just me, because I know the stuff that I want at Target is never going to go on clearance. The NECA, horror figures, the NECA figures, they're
Yeah,
never
that
going to
stuff
go on
never
clearance.
goes. Yeah.
And like
Um,
that too, if it's something like NECA and TMNT, that's me. I'm
Mhm.
all in on that. That's my
Mhm.
shit. Like I support that. Like if I'm gonna wait for everything to go on clearance, well, eventually that's gonna kill the line, because
Right.
if the line's not gonna sell because everybody's waiting for it on clearance, then why would they continue to make a line that they're
Right.
gonna have to
Exactly.
clearance
Right.
it
That's such
out?
a good
For the
point.
most part,
So
but they're
that's
still
gonna
making
hurt
money even on clearance too.
all
But
those
I mean,
all those people that are like, wait for everything to go on clearance. Well, that's just gonna kill all your toy lines then. So if it's something
Right.
that you really support, I would
The
support
new
it.
TNT from the new movie that are hitting targets. Are you buying any of those?
Yeah, I got most of that already.
Oh, did you? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They just started like showing up in my, yeah, dude. Dude, I love those. Like, I
you
love
broke
the
it.
vibrant color on those. They did a good job.
What's cool too is they kind of like Playmates kind of like did like a throwback to the original stuff too. Like even with the packaging, they got like the bricks on there, and
Right?
like
Yeah.
they got that they got the set with the where they're like in I forgot what they call it, the in disguise set where they have like the space suit one and the
Yeah.
Star Trek one. Like it's cool. They're like doing throwbacks to the old original
Yeah,
line.
like even our
I
in-store display for them is awesome. It's just like a
Mhm.
purple brick wall and like stuff, it's like so colorful. Like when you
Yep.
walk in, you're just attracted right to it.
I love the
Yeah.
art, like the art style that they're made in. I'm praying the movie's good.
Yeah.
I love the original figures, and some of the ones they're doing now are really nice and tempting to get into. But
Yeah.
I've always loved the turtles. I just never. Well, when I was younger, I collected like the older ones. I had not collected, but I played with them.
Yeah.
But I never really got into them like a ton. But I've always liked them, and I love the first movie. I
Right.
still like. I'm thinking about watching that first movie they did. What was it, 91, 90, something like that?
Yeah.
I just watched that the other night. Actually, I
That's a
watched all
great
three of them.
movie. It's really dark. I know we talked about this before, but it's really dark and it's really I love it. It was well done, but
Yeah.
I just never got into collecting them. But you never know. I mean, things
I
change.
really so I didn't so my brother played with them when we were kids. I was at that age where I was like phasing out of toys, but my brother had them. He played with them. I really didn't. But as an adult, like, I mean, I've got a pretty nice size little collection over here going on. It's like as an adult, like I'm like, man, these things are freaking awesome. And so I've just been picking them up. I'd say though, probably at least half of what I've got I found in thrift stores though, so that's good.
J Philly Retro Toys said, guys, I'm very, very tempted to bust all my figures out of the package.
Do it.
Talking about
Do
this
it.
is my thing. I actually do both. I have there's stuff I keep in package, like let's stuff on cards. I usually a lot of it ends up staying on card because like the card is like Spider-Man Retro, the retro card and stuff. Those all stay on card because part of the packaging is like part of it. But like with my NECA Turtles, the way that they made them, like you get them out of the box and pose them, it like brings them to life. So like it doesn't do justice keep it in the box, in my opinion, for
No.
some stuff.
Yeah.
So
I
like
mean, some stuff looks so
it's
good
like
in
keeping
the
a
box.
hot toy in a box. You don't
Oh,
do
yeah.
that,
No, you can't.
Right. Well, that's what I did when so I got the retro Indiana Jones figures. I bought
saw
them
that.
when they first came out and I just kept them on the card. But when they went on clearance, I went and picked up a whole bunch more because I was like, I want to have them out. I have the vintage ones from the 80s as well, but
Mhm.
like I wanted to have those ones too.
I love the
Yeah, that's a
comparison.
perfect
I love the
example like
comparison
that.
you did.
I would keep those on the card because
Yeah.
the card is like half of the appeal to me.
Well,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
only that, but like if you think about, I mean, they cut that line. Like that's
Mhm.
it. Like what we saw in stores with that's it. Like there's nothing else coming. And like a lot of people didn't buy them. They didn't want them. So like I feel like later on down the road, they could be worth a little something,
They could
even
be.
though they're a retro version of it, but
Mhm.
still like, it's like every Indiana Jones line that has ever come out has like pretty much been unsuccessful.
I saw your
And they didn't
comparison.
even
They look
do
really
a
good.
Dial of Destiny. Like I think maybe there might be old Indy like in the 6-inch or something like that, but I think he's the only like Dial of Destiny figure. Maybe there's one more, but like they put everything on clearance, so we know where they're getting rid of it. We know the movie like bombed, even though like I liked it, like it still didn't do very well. So yeah, I think there's a lot to what you said, keeping that on card, and you know, it'll be
I was
one of those
surprised
things.
how similar they were when you did the comparison to the original.
Yeah, they weren't too far off,
No.
were they?
No, not to me. I mean, I thought they were pretty damn spot on.
Well, they're probably
mean-
still using the same molds, aren't they?
I mean, there's slight differences, but it's
They're
not like, wow.
they're a little smooth. Like these new ones, they're not quite as detailed. Like, and not that the original ones were very detailed anyway, but they definitely have like a smoother face to them. I heard that they actually, let me plug this in real quick, guys, before my computer dies.
Uh-oh.
Shit, I don't know what
There
that
goes your
was.
Dude, I had the same problem. My fucking microphone thing came off, you know, like the little clamp, and it's all just sitting. I was just like, okay, dude, it's just gonna sit here on not to do with it.
I heard that they didn't have the original mold, but they took, this is what somebody told me. I don't know if it's true or not, but they didn't have the original mold for those still. So they had their artists basically take the figures and like resculpt or mold. And like the German mechanic, I think he's actually the new one is a little bit taller than the old one. So there's some stuff like that, but like I don't even know if that's true or not, but I heard that they, you know, didn't have the mold and had to resculpt them, sort of thing.
Damn.
Yeah,
I know, like the turtle, like all the Playmates turtles, all the retro ones, they're pretty much the same figure. The paint's just a little bit different on most of them. Like you
I
can
guess
tell
it's easier to do like a masked figure or a helmeted figure than a facial figure, I would assume. Like a lot easier, probably.
Speaking of those like those Diamond Select toys, I don't like. I think their faces are too smooth for me. You know, I don't like their line.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big Diamond Select person.
Yeah,
I like not a big fan of Diamond Select.
right.
No.
Yeah, there's just something about them I just don't connect with.
Right.
Yeah, me either. Trying to read some of these chats.
But
We got to
I don't
talk
know,
Jay
like-
Philly into opening that shit though. Do
Someone
it.
said
What?
let them fucking. Oh, Joe said let them fucking breathe.
And then he says his brain tells him no, and I say a brain's a terrible thing to waste. Open them suckers up. Just do it. He's probably opening them right now. That's where he's at.
Right. Yeah. He's gonna come back. I did it.
Come back with all these open toys going. Wee.
If he comes back and says, I bust him out," we'd be like, "Oh, dude, you were just joking.
Dude, I was just kidding. Don't open them.
Right.
Come
Yeah,
on,
you
man.
didn't open them,
What are
did
you
you?"
doing? You fucked it all up.
You fucked up. No, he's I enjoy his videos, man. They're like yours. Like the thrift store thing is a little different than most people do.
Yeah.
So, it's cool to see. And
I gotta I'll tell you guys about this. So it was 2 weeks ago now. So I got up, I was gonna go hit up the thrift store at 9 a.m. Turned out I had a few clients message me, and I was like, shit, like I better take care of this first and then I'll go. So I started handling my business, and around 10:30 I got in the car, pulled out, I'm heading towards the road, you know, and I get a text message from my friend Thrifter Sean. So he says, dude, somebody dumped their entire collection of real Ghostbusters at the thrift store on the east side of Plano. And I literally pulled the car over and put my hazards on, you know, and I start texting him back, and I'm like, oh my God, are you fucking serious? He's like, yeah, dude, like there's tons of stuff here. And I said, I'm like 15 minutes away. I'm actually on my way there right now.
guard the shit.
Yeah. I told him, I said, can you like save some scraps for me? You know? And he messages back. He goes, I'm sorry, bro. And that's all he said. And I was like, oh man. So like I drive over there because we only know each other through thrifting. Like we don't hang out or anything like that.
You know, you got to call 911 for a fucking like a police escort there at that point.
Right.
You got to get there quick.
So I pull up, And
No,
I
you got to
walk
call
in.
911. Be like, there's a really suspicious character in the store. I'd
Yeah,
come check
right.
him
Yeah,
out.
there's a fucking pervert in the store. Don't go fast for that. They don't like
Right.
perverts, right?
So I end up getting there, and he had a shopping cart, and I got it all on video and stuff. So it's a video that's coming out probably this week. But like he had the firehouse, he had the proton blasters, the proton guns. He had tons of like he had three. I'm sorry, not three, two. He had two Ecto ones. One was fairly complete, and the other was just kind of like the shell of it. There was no accessories. So he had two of those. He had a whole bunch of ghosts. He had some figures. Like, I mean, his shopping cart was like full. And he was like, there was another guy here, and he goes, he got a big bag that was nothing but figures.
Damn.
And I was like, oh no. So I'm like videotaping, and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm gonna go through, because he found a lot of them in the baggies, and then some of them were just like laying on the shelves, but a lot of the ghosts and all that stuff he got were like in the baggies. So I'm like, I'm gonna rummage through these bags and see if you guys missed anything. And dude, they missed shit, and like I ended up getting a nice little haul out of it.
Nice.
Like, yeah, I probably ended up with like, I don't know, like 10 to 15 like figures and stuff like that. So
It was all original, like not.
yeah, all from the 80s. Like, yeah, somebody dumped their
Wow.
whole fucking collection.
Who would
When stuff like
donate
that
that,
happens,
man?
I'm either they don't know, which I can't imagine this day and age. Like, you wouldn't just at least think like, hey, I wonder if this is worth something. Maybe I should look into this. So either they don't know, or it's just some poor guy who, has a family of his own somewhere else, and his mom is cleaning out the attic or the basement and just saying, oh, this stuff's junk, I'll just donate it to the thrift store.
Right,
Like,
right.
why else would you get rid of it?
We were just talking about that with Century TMC. Like, those days are pretty much done. Like, going to a yard sale and finding like a whole shit ton of retro Ninja Turtles or vintage Ninja Turtles, like, because people have their phones. Everybody knows, like, you can find the price of everything.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
like,
the internet ruined that. Yeah.
those days are like slim to none now.
Or
I
it
heard
could, like
Philly
Jay Philly
Retro-
said, it could be ex-girlfriend's revenge.
Yeah, it could be that too. That would
That
suck.
bastard, I'll get rid of all his
Oh my
toys.
God, I'd be so pissed.
I'd kill
Yeah,
somebody.
Jay Philly Retro said something the other day on one of his videos. And he said that a friend of his says that people at yard sales want eBay prices without having to do the eBay work.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
I went to a yard sale about a month ago, and these people had, like, I specifically went to because I saw NECA figures, right? And they had all retail prices. I'm like, what's stopping me from going to Walmart and getting them, or Target? I mean, these ones are sitting out in the morning dew. The boxes are all wet from the morning,
Yeah, they're not
I'm like,
new
what
anymore.
the fuck is this?
I don't, that's not new anymore. I don't care.
Fuck no. They had
That's what
morning
pisses me
dew.
off when I go to like Goodwill, and I'll find like a random NECA figure there or something like that, and they want like $40 for it. I'm like, what? This is good. We're at Goodwill. What the hell?
Yeah,
I
I'm
know,
not paying you
right?
full
Fuck's
price
this money
for a
going,
figure
man?
that's still at Target right now.
I
This,
couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Goodwill-
I rolled up and it was like $35 for a ET, and I'm like,
Wow.
I don't even think they're $35 at Target. To be honest.
No, well,
with
that's
you.
what I was just gonna like. So the Goodwill up the street had this. So you guys might not remember this guy, but like when I was a little kid, I'm like under 5, I had this monkey, this stuffed plush monkey called Zippy the monkey. So he was like a black monkey and had like like a yellow shirt and like a banana in his hand. Well, they had one of these Zippies at Goodwill in the glass case. And I was like, oh my God, I had that as a kid. So I go over to the case and I'm like, I wonder how much they're asking for it. It's $75, $75.75, which I'll tell you a story about that in a second. So $75.75. So I'm like, wow, is he worth that much? So I look him up on eBay, and like you could buy him on eBay for like $40. So like they were like way overpricing it. And he sat in that glass case for probably 3 weeks. And when I went there the other day, he was gone. And I don't know if they reduced the price and somebody came in and bought it, or somebody actually spent $75 on it. But one of the Goodwill employees told me that that's the reason they do like odd numbers, like $2.02 or like $7.75. is because when they add tax, they either want it to be under the next dollar or a little bit over. So that way they can ask you if you'd like to donate to Goodwill.
Yeah,
so that's why they do that.
Will you donate for your donation? I'm like, I'm already
say no.
donating.
I know.
I hate when Walmart does that shit too. You want to donate to this or whatever, and they try to make you feel bad, right? I'm like, you fuckers donate. You just made all this money today.
My wife and I have talked about that. Like every restaurant like we go to, like a fast food restaurant, like every one of them is, would you like to donate to say? It's like, no, I want my fucking meal. That's all I want. Like I don't want to donate to anybody right now. If anything, I would donate to me. This is a tough economy. A
lot of these charities are bullshit anyways. Like 90% of the money goes to the people
administration. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Like no, someone gonna donate to me someday? Like,
yeah,
right.
Donation and tips. What the all my money goes to donation or tips. And I have the only job that don't get tipped. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I do donate once in a while, but like if I donated every time, I would just be donating all my money away.
Yeah, I like to donate it on things that I choose to do it, not something that I feel like I'm pressured into at the cash register with people listening. I don't give a fuck. No.
Well, the thing that pisses me off about like Goodwill is like I'm already donating by buying this because this was a donation. You're just trading it for money now, so it's still a donation. So you're asking me to donate on top of a donation. Like, what the fuck? When's enough?
I just bought a fucking toy. I'm 50 years old. That's a donation.
Yeah,
that you overcharged me for. Like
exactly.
Speaking of that, with Target, that's one of the things that Target does. What was that last thing that you just said? The toy. Oh yeah, I bought these Indiana Jones figures, and they had this thing pop up on the screen. Would you like to buy a protection plan for $3?
Oh yeah, they always say that.
I was like, for a fucking toy, like
Like
when the thing is, like, I bet you if you buy it and the toy breaks, they'd be like, oh no, there was these certain like.
Oh no, the leg wasn't covered, just the arms.
Right.
Yeah, because I should have got that on my Splinter NECA because he keeps breaking, but I don't know. Maybe Colin thinks I'm too rough with it, but the fucking leg keeps snapping off, so now I got to get another one.
Yeah,
that's my worst figure of the year.
I don't really have problems with my stuff. So
well, my Splinter fell off the fucking shelf and his little leg snapped off. Now I got to figure out: do I do him dirty and buy another one and put this in the package?
Or they really aren't. They aren't meant to be like thrown on the fucking floor.
Well, he fell. I didn't throw him. I mean, I had him stuck up there with them stickies and a fucking foot plate, and he still fell, little asshole. So I don't know what to do with that.
That's funny.
But yeah, what do I do with that?
I was gonna say too, just one last thing, like the Starbucks, right? So I don't go there very often, but every once in a while, my wife wants like a caramel cappuccino or a macchiato, whatever, caramel macchiato. So I go over there, and they now have this thing where like they want you to tip, so they hand you the thing that this is bullshit too. Like we're over everything. Like, why do you have to put your card thing out like this? And I have to like try to, guide it in there like I'm some sort of like I'm trying to land it on an aircraft carrier, and like put my card in there.
I hate when they hold it.
Say it's going to ask you a question. That's their line. It's going to ask you a question. The question is, how much do you want to tip? And at first I felt pressured into it. And I was kind of like, because they're watching, like, it's going to ask you a question. And then they're like sitting there watching. And it's like, do you want to tip, 15, 20%, 25? So like, I would do like 15% tip, 15. And it got to a point where I was like, wait a minute. Like, you're just like this place sells coffee. You're not waiting on me like a server.
Yeah, I never understood
the thing that I'm buying, which is what you sell. Mm-hmm. So like I started getting to I was like, fuck that. So every time they put it out, I do this with my finger to let them know. Like I go, boom, and I hit no thanks on there, and they stand there and they watch you, and I'm just like,
you're standing there ordering your shit. They're not doing anything special.
No.
And I'm pretty sure Starbucks employees make a normal wage. It's not like they're only making $2 an hour, like
right.
They're not. I never understood them asking for a tip. Like you're not doing anything. You're not going out of the way at all. You're doing what the service is. You're not coming to a table and waiting on me. You're not. I mean, exactly. I never understood.
If I was sitting, you were coming and checking on me, like, hey, is there anything I can get you? Are you okay? Do you need another drink? Or just that deserves a tip.
Maybe
you
if
know?
I
what the
get,
most-
maybe if you start offering free refills, then maybe I'll tip a little bit, you know.
So the most embarrassing thing is like when I take my dogs to get groomed and bathed, you know, it'll come to like 75, 80 bucks. And then the chick will say, do you want to add a tip? And I'm like, why don't you just hang the fuck on? Maybe I'll hand you something. Why are you going to ask me that shit, man? Like, come on. Now you're making it uncomfortable and shit. Like, and then you got to say, all right, add 20 bucks or whatever. But like, just chill out. I'm going to give you something. You don't have to ask, man. Come on.
Right.
You know,
I always
like,
tip based on, I
bad.
base tip on level of service.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like this little thing for me. So like, I typically never tip less than 20%. You know, I'll give 20% almost no matter what. Sometimes I'll give 15 if the service was real bad. But I have this thing where it's my drink. If I go to a restaurant and I don't have to like hunt you down to refill my drink, like where you're kind of keeping an eye on it, because I have some awesome servers. Like, you know, it gets down to about that much left and they come over and they'll refill it, or hey, can I get you another drink? Yeah, that'd be great, you know. So, but like if I run out of drink and I have to sit there for like 5 minutes or so waiting for 10 minutes for you to come by and you don't come by, then it you get a 20% tip or maybe 15.
Yeah.
However,
you even give them the look and they look at you. They make eye contact.
Oh, I hate that. Right?
I'll never forget.
But
I'll never
tip
forget. I went to
30% sometimes too.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings. We went in there one time and we got them hot ass wings, and the chick, our waitress, she's over there talking to the baseball team, trying to get some dick, and I'm like, we're over there like our mouths are burning, and we're trying to get like some soda or beer or whatever, like to try to get this flame out of our mouth. So then I didn't give her shit, to be honest with you, and I don't normally do that. But I couldn't give her shit because I got one drink the whole time.
Wow.
So I had to like drink my wife's a little bit of her water that she had left, and she didn't have much, or I had to take some of her ice. Yeah. And I had to go over to another waitress and say, can you get me some more soda? Because this chick never came back because she's over there trying to get a booty call. Right. And I'm like, she never came back at all.
Wow.
Until the very end. And I put $0.
Yeah.
For her. And I walked over to the other girl though, and I gave her $10 for getting me a drink when she wasn't even my server.
That's awesome.
I was so pissed, dude. Like I'm sitting there with the habanero wings. I'm like, oh my God, dude, call the cops. Like I'm fucked up. Like, but I don't normally do that, but I had to that day because if I gave her even $1, you know, that's not even good enough for what she did, you know. So you know, screw her.
Yeah, dude.
So hopefully she got lucky that
night
night
or something. She just wasn't there, you know.
I don't know. Hopefully she got lucky that night because she deserved it. Like,
I was gonna say too. Like I know I've heard some people say, well, maybe they were just having, you know, like if you didn't get like good service, right? They might say, well, maybe they were just having a bad day.
Fuck that.
And it's like, yeah, you know what? I've had bad days too, but when I showed up to work, I put a smile on my face and you know, I switched
the shit at the door.
You know, I don't give a fuck like what kind of day you had, you know, like. You know, maybe if your wife was in a car accident or something, but then it's like, why are you even at work? You know,
well, if it's that bad, you shouldn't be here. You know,
right?
Yeah, you got to leave that shit. Like when I go to work in a bad mood, something happened, whatever. You got to leave that shit at the door. I can't carry. It'll ruin my whole day if I carry it with me. So I got to just put on a fake smile and get the day over with, and then go back to being miserable when 2:30 hits. You know, just the way it is. So. Some people could do that. Some people can't. I have a rough time doing that sometime, but you know, you got to try.
Right.
But yeah, it's, I'll never forget, man. That shit, that habanero wing was hot as shit. Let me tell you.
Martin Burner says, yeah, if she's hot and has good headlights, she gets a top tip.
There you go. There you go. I can't base myself off of that. My wife's usually with me. So.
Is he still talking about strip clubs? Or?
Probably both. Waitresses and strip clubs. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. What did Art G say here? Did we already put this one up here? Let me read this.
Well, dude, I just saw there was a video going around, and it was on one of those Ring doorbell cameras. The delivery driver comes up, and he hands her the pizza or whatever, and she gives him like a $5 tip, and it was like a $20 pizza, and the delivery driver goes, "It's a nice house for whatever the tip, whether he made a comment at her or whatever, and she actually posted. She was like, "Well, how much am I supposed to tip for a $20 pizza?"
That's
And like, I kind of get that, like, if I'm only buying a $20 pizza, like, what am I supposed to pay $20 extra for the tip?
You're getting you're getting over 20%. I mean, that's
right.
I mean, come on, people. Like,
I mean, I get it. Like,
Would you want me to pay for 2 pizzas and give you the other 20?
I would have been like, you know what? You're right. Let me have that 5 back. Boom! Slam the fucking door on his ass. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, seriously.
You dare talk shit on my porch.
Right.
Then I would have put the damn video from Ring right online and showed everybody. Yeah, that's what you get. But that's fucked up. I always wonder, like we were talking about earlier, like I thought I was the only one that thought like that. When you go in to order something, I had an argument with somebody at work. Not an argument, but a discussion.
Yeah.
They wanted to give a tip and they went to pick it up. And I'm like, well, don't count me in on that because you're going to pick it up. So we don't need to pay that person at the counter. They're not doing shit. So
yeah,
what are you tipping for? That's what I'm asking. Like, I don't get what you're going in to buy. If you're ordering it, you're paying for the food.
Yeah,
you're going to pick it up. What are you tipping for? You're tipping because you walked in there to pick it up. I don't get it.
Right.
You go in there to buy coffee, you're supposed to give a tip, but you go in there to buy tires, do you give them a tip too? No, you don't give them a tip. You're buying something that they sell.
Like, when I go get a haircut or like even at the tattoo shop, I give a tip because they're working, they're giving part of the money that they made off you to the shop themselves.
Yeah.
So I tip them. Like, that makes sense to me. But like, if I go buy a coffee that you're selling, why am I paying and why am I giving you extra money for the coffee? Like, I don't get that.
Exactly. Like Jay Philly Retro says here, these places want to charge a $6 delivery fee and expect you to tip the driver. Aren't they getting a piece of that pie too? Or where's that go?
No, the $6 goes to the restaurant. It doesn't go to the driver.
Well, you know what? They better share the damn wealth because I don't have it anymore, man. They're going to get less and less from my ass.
They shouldn't be allowed to charge that $6 delivery fee unless it's going to the driver.
Because the driver's paying for the gas for their car.
What was it Nicole was telling me that restaurants today? Hey, Nicole.
Yeah, bring her in.
We come up here for a second.
Tell her we want to see her pretty smile on camera.
Can you come up here for a second? Everybody wants to kind of. I have a question to ask you, but people want to see you.
We got a tip for you. Come on down.
Yeah, right. It's just. You look horrible. Nah, you look beautiful.
Oh.
Hi.
This is Joe and Colin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You were telling me earlier today that the restaurants. There's something that there's some of them are starting to do that you can opt out of, but what was it?
To charge for insurance to help pay for their insurance.
Yep. So some restaurants are now putting an insurance charge on your receipt when you're done. If you see it, you can tell them, "Hey, I don't want that," and they'll remove it. But it automatically goes on there, and it's to help pay for insurance for their employees. Yeah.
You know what? I believe it. The way this shit is right now, I believe it. It's kind of crazy.
That was the last thing I thought I was going to hear.
While you're here, Nicole. Nicole, did he show you the video me and my wife made about the goodie wheel? Did you show him that?
Yeah, remember?
How did we do?
You did awesome.
Oh, thanks. That was her idea. She said, "Send this to Burf."
Yeah, we love
your next show.
Awesome.
We love that shit when you guys do that.
I'm gonna put it in one of my upcoming videos.
Oh, you are. Oh, you should. Oh man, my wife she'd flip out because she don't like to be on camera. But that's okay.
Well, don't tell her. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah, we'll surprise her ass. Then I'll give her a tip.
Thank you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? She was just telling me about it today, and I'm like, how can they even do that? Like,
well, the sad part is that money's probably going to go to nowadays. That's probably going to go to people who don't have insurance and they get it for free. That's probably what it's really going to, you know, sadly enough.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. There's some insane shit going on right now. And they can get away with whatever.
She had said earlier when we were talking about it, she said, so, you know, just when we go out to eat, just kind of check the receipt. Don't sign off it. It might only be a few dollars. You know what I mean? But like, you think
that shit all adds up, though.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, you're paying delivery. Now we insurance charges. We can have like the driver wants a new car. Let's put that on there, and
right.
Like,
I'm paying for insurance in case they get in an accident. Yeah, calm down, people.
Right.
Your $5 cheeseburger is going to cost you $50 by the time you're done.
Shit, it's bad enough your $1,000
of college and everything else. Like,
yeah, it's
Jesus
bad enough.
Christ.
$1,000 now was like it's what 4 years ago is like 600 now.
Yeah,
and then they'll still forget your fucking fries. So like,
or they're cold and droopy and shit.
Right?
Like,
my God,
droopy fries.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, the buying power of our dollar isn't what it used to be. That's for sure.
fuck no.
I feel like everywhere I go, it's $10 minimum. Like, even like if you go, I haven't eaten at McDonald's in a while, like months now, but like last time I went, it was like $30 almost for the three of us to eat there. I'm like,
fucking McDonald's.
That used to be what a sit down restaurant was.
Well, now you go to a sit down restaurant and you can't spend less than $100.
Right.
I mean, because me and my wife go out and then it's $100. Now I'll take it. Yeah, we buy alcohol, whatever, but still,
right.
what used to be $55 is now $100 every time.
And like
you can't do that.
Like that Super 7 figures, their reaction figures, and that I always think have been overpriced at $17.99. Well, they're now $19.99.
Oh, yeah.
They've gone up $2 more just in
when those things were like $7 to $10, they were perfect. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what they think they're selling for $20 a piece. Like,
don't they know if they sell them for cheaper, they'll sell more?
I know.
I can't believe there's people that buy those. That's like
at $8.99, you would never have to have clearance again because they would go off the shelves so fast.
I know.
And you would sell so much more.
Is it really costing them that much money, or are they just taking advantage of a situation? Like as a whole, we know inflation is up and stuff, but like, did your cost really go up that much? Or are you like, hey, you know what? People will just blame it on inflation, so let's charge just a little bit more,
Right. Yeah, because it seemed like it just jumped way too much.
Like,
too fast. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. It's fucked up.
Yeah, because I called for something one time and I was like, well, why am I paying so much now? And he went, labor has gone up. I'm like, how the fuck does labor go up? I'm like, it's the same people doing the work. I mean, we didn't get tremendous raises during all this. I mean, why are they? Like, am I in the only job with no tip and no tremendous raise? Like, what the fuck am I doing wrong here?
Right.
I mean, I do labor work too. Shit. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
You just roll with the punches,
That's all you can do.
Get through it, and hopefully on the other side it's a little better. But I don't know. I try to remain positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good to me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Super 7 sucks.
Yeah. Damn, it's been an hour and a half already.
Wow.
Yeah.
It goes so fast, man. You guys
Time flies.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we got to get off of here. I got to get up early, and I'm sure you guys do too. Or whatever,
we're gonna have to do a round 3.
Yeah,
might have to do a round robin here. So
yeah,
we'll give you some time. We'll do it again a couple months or so, but whenever you want to come back on. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
I'm always open,
whenever,
man. Like I said, it's fun. I enjoy hanging out and talking to you guys and stuff like that. So
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, whenever you want to come hang out, for sure. These are
fun. Yeah, message me, say I want to come on. Whatever, and
yeah,
you can be like an open guest.
I feel like we talk like about different stuff. I know your show like doesn't have like an agenda, but I like that we kind of like talk about how one conversation flows right into the next.
Yeah, that's what we like about this. I don't want to talk about toys all the time, and neither does he. Yeah, and I know we sometimes get into that. I would call it a rut, because the more I hear about toys, the less interested I am in the fucking hobbies, to tell you the truth, because I hear too much about it sometime and I kind of get discouraged. And I know he probably gets the same way. We've had this conversation, and we're trying to make this where it's not all toys. And
it's just a good mixture of stuff. You actually get to hear what the people on the, you know, on the other side of the people watching, get kind of understand a little bit more about how we think.
Yeah.
You know, who
What
we
about
are, as
you,
a person,
period,
what our
yeah.
values are, that sort of. And I think a lot of people resonate, because I can tell just like from the conversations we had backstage, you know, last time and this time and last video and stuff like that. Like the three of us, I think, hold a lot of the same morals, values, and ethics in life. And it's like we're like-minded, you know?
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. Well, like I said, you got an open invitation. Anytime you want to come back on,
Cool.
you let me know. I'll let you know. We'll reach out. You reach out. Doesn't have to be anything formal. You have an open invitation to do this anytime you want. We enjoyed it.
Thanks, brother.
We love talking about all this old times, man. It brings back so much, and
Right.
I absolutely love it, man. I really do. I continue to support. I'm gonna go watch your latest video in a few minutes here.
Yeah, I just realized today that I wasn't subscribed to you, so I subscribed to
fuck?
you. So I'm gonna jump in.
Oh, and check out Colin's too. He has his EC collecting.
EC Collect. Okay, yes.
Yeah, he just put a new video or two out too, so check him out as well. Yeah.
Let me take a picture of that real quick, just so I
can put it on the side of a milk
carton.
carton.
Look it up right after.
Not to mention, we always get this great group of people in the chat.
Yeah, we do, man. Thanks to everybody in the chat tonight. You've been really super active, and you know, when we have such a good conversation, it's hard to get to every topic that you guys are bringing up, but we try our best, man. Stick with us.
Yeah. Awesome. I enjoyed it, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, us as well, man. We'll say our goodbyes backstage as usual.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
But next week, July 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern, Toy Bills will be joining us. He customizes, he collects hot toys, he loves Star Wars. We're going to talk about all that, but we're also going to get to know him like we did you and see what makes him tick, not just toys. So we'll be with him next week. And then the week after that, Big Dub will be joining us, and we'll get to know him a little bit better as well. Cool. But for now, guys, thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you, Burf. Colin, good job. And we will see you next week. For now, that's what effing figures. See you next time.
Later, guys.